It's 2022. Time flies when you're digging up the past. In the small town of Pien, Poland, where the Wi-Fi is as ancient as the artifacts, archaeologists are digging up an old site. It's from the 1600s. Talk about a throwback Thursday. Suddenly, they find something amazing. A grave, unlike any they've seen before. And they've seen a lot of graves. This isn't a normal grave, this is Zosha's grave. Cue the spooky music. Inside, there's the skeleton of a young woman. She didn't get the memo about beauty, sleep. She was probably between 17 and 21 years old when she died. Forever young. Literally. But it's the things buried with her that give everyone the creeps, and not the good kind of goosebumps. A sickle lies across her neck, shining in the sun. Talk about a killer accessory. On her left big toe, a heavy padlock. Guess she didn't want to lose her keys. These aren't gifts or keepsakes, unless you count nightmares as keepsakes. These are signs of superstition, signs of fear, and maybe a little overkill. This is a vampire burial. No garlic or wooden stakes required. In the 1600s, these burials were common in Eastern and Central Europe. Because who doesn't love a good vampire story? People believed they stopped the dead from coming back to life, from haunting the living. Talk about extreme home security. But who was Zosha? And why did people think she was dangerous? Even after she died. Maybe she was just a really bad neighbor. The things in her grave give us clues about her life and what people believed back then. The archaeologists are excited. It's like finding the ultimate Easter egg. They know they've found something important. A story that's been hidden for hundreds of years. And it's not just another rerun. Finding Zosha's grave is just the start. The plot thickens. Figuring out the mysteries of her life and death will take careful study, science, and a trip back in time to understand her world, and maybe a few more shovels. Imagine a time when life and death were like that one friend who can't decide where to eat. A time when everything was foggy, and not just because of the weather. Superstition was the Wi-Fi of the 1600s. Everyone believed in it, but no one really understood how it worked. The 1600s, in Eastern and Central Europe, were like that. A real-life horror movie without the popcorn. Sickness spread like bad gossip, and wars were the original reality TV. People didn't know much about the world, but they sure had a lot of theories. Back then, the belief in vampires was stronger than your morning coffee. These creatures of the night, these undead beings, were the original party crashers. They weren't just stories. They felt real. Like that one nightmare you can't shake off. Like the worst nightmares of the living, but with more capes and less logic. People thought vampires were those who died, but didn't get the memo. They were stuck between worlds, craving blood, like it was the latest diet trend. Vampire burials were a way to fight this fear, like garlic for your soul. A way to protect the living from the dead, because nobody likes uninvited guests. People who were different, people who didn't fit in, were often thought to be vampires. Talk about a tough crowd. This included people from other places, because nothing says welcome like suspicion. People with disabilities, and even people who died, suddenly or mysteriously. Basically, anyone who didn't follow the script. These burials had special rituals to stop the vampire from getting out of the grave. Think of it as ancient security systems. Sharp things like sickles were put on or near the body, because nothing says stay put like a sharp object. Padlocks were used to trap the soul in the grave. Talk about locking in your problems. Sometimes bodies were buried face down, so if they tried to dig their way out, they'd just dig deeper. A real dig yourself into a hole situation. These historical graves in disrepair, eerie graveyard scenes, were the ultimate do not disturb signs. So next time you think your job is tough, just remember, at least you don't have to worry about vampires. Zosha's grave is a vampire burial, but it's also different, which makes it even more mysterious. It's like the ultimate do not disturb sign. The sickle and the padlock together, which is rare, shows that people were really scared of her. Talk about overkill. It's like they wanted to be extra sure she would never come back. They probably thought, better safe than sorry. There are other interesting things in the grave too. It's like a historical treasure hunt. Pieces of a pillow, fine silk threads, and even bits of precious metal show that she wasn't poor. She had a better thread count than most of us. These things belong to someone rich, maybe even very important, or just someone with a serious shopping addiction. So, why was Zosia buried like a vampire? Did she forget to pay her HOA fees? What happened in her life or when she died that made people do this? Maybe she threw one too many wild parties? These fancy things buried with scary things make her story even more mysterious. It's like mixing caviar with garlic. Her burial makes us ask more questions than it answers. It's the ultimate cliffhanger. Were people really scared she was a vampire? Or did they bury her this way to hide a secret? Maybe she was just really bad at keeping secrets. The answers are hidden in the past, in the silent story of bones and old things, waiting for us to figure them out. It's like the world's oldest mystery novel. Hundreds of years after she died, Zosha's story is coming back. Not by magic, but by science. Sorry, Harry Potter fans. Scientists, doctors, and other experts are working to rebuild her face, to see what this mysterious young woman looked like. Spoiler alert. She didn't have vampire fangs. They start with a 3D printed copy of her skull. No, it's not a Halloween decoration. Then, they carefully rebuild the muscles and skin of her face, bit by bit. It's like Extreme Makeover, Ancient Edition. They use clay and their knowledge of faces, her age, and even clues about her family from DNA, which shows she might have been related to people from Scandinavia. Maybe she was a Viking in disguise? This work is both science and art, using new technology and skilled hands, and a lot of patience. As her face appears, it's like Zosha is looking back at us through time, probably wondering why we're staring at her. But rebuilding her face shows us more than just what she looked like. It's like CSI Medieval Edition. It shows us something about her health that may have caused her death. And no, it wasn't a vampire bite. The researchers find that Zosha had a hemangioma, which is like a bump in a blood vessel. Think of it as a traffic jam in her veins. Hers was in her sternum, a bone in her chest. Not the best place for a traffic jam. This might have made her chest look different, and it could have made her faint, have headaches, and even have problems with how she thought and felt. Basically, it was a real pain in the chest. Now that they have the DNA and are reconstructing her face, what's next? Are we going to bring her back like they did the dire wolf from Game of Thrones? They can clone anything with just a little DNA. Maybe we should all get our garlic necklaces ready. You could be living next door to a vampire now and not even know it. Grab your crosses and like and subscribe to get more creepy news. Thanks for watching.